Right, guys, welcome back to the Mental Game podcast. I'm your host, Nickel Mothra, and I hope everyone's having a brilliant week and day. My week has been fairly interesting. To be honest, it's just been working. But I'm reading this brilliant book by Maya Ratchaturi. I hope I didn't butcher that name, but I'm reading a book she wrote. And if you don't know her, she's a mental expert who focuses on mental fitness. A new term I learned during this week. I'm reading about the importance of visualization and how we can use visualization to cultivate confidence and visualize what we want in our life and sort of rewire our brain to have those opportunities come to life and also that positivity we desire. So that book is absolutely brilliant and it's called Visualize, and I encourage everyone to check her out on LinkedIn because she's very insightful and is spreading very, very good information which can really help you out and put you in the right direction if you're not, or also just optimize your life. Other than that, my week has been fairly normal. Been watching quite a few of movies on Netflix. Finished Squid Game, which was pretty decent, and yeah, that's about it really. In today's podcast, we will be discussing the importance of trying. Now you're probably thinking, what do you mean by trying? Well, I simply mean to try something. And I firmly believe the quote, "You won't know until you try." You won't know until you experience. Trying is so important. I was talking to a person in the gym, and we were discussing about what he does in his free time. He mentioned that he's starting a business, one related to softwares and so on. And I was very impressed, and I complimented his idea and his ambition. However, he mentioned that I'm just trying. However, what I said was I was very impressed with what I said and how I replied to that comment. And I said that it's brilliant how you have that courage to try. And many people don't have that courage to try. And after responding, I sort of analyzed my response and realized that this could be implemented in almost every facet in our lives. Whether that includes trying a new food. You won't know if you like the food until you sort of try it. With our relationships, you need to put yourself out there in order to start a relationship or get to know somebody. Don't take a relationship advice from me, but I'm sort of learning that. But also with other facets, for example, you won't know if you like a job until you actually try it out. You won't know if you like a movie until you watch it. You won't know if you liked a specific area to travel to unless you actually travel to the place. So you won't know until you experience. And trying really takes courage. And from observation, courage can be built with practice. It can be built with awareness. Once you're aware that fear is pulling you back, whether that's fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, and you are aware of those situations when fear is holding you back and putting a boundary on you, you can or you're able to unlock that courage, where you can become courageous enough to say that those fears can no longer be in my life, or can be minimized with some rationale. And I can be courageous enough to try this certain thing, and to sort of put aside that fear and realize that it's holding me back. Let me give you an example. With this person I'm talking to in the gym, he could have easily told himself that I'm scared of failing, I'm scared of wasting time and other people's time. Hence, I'm not going to open this business, and thus I'm not going to try to start a business or a startup. But instead, what was so brilliant is the fact that he was courageous enough to put those fears aside and sort of say, I'm going to try this. I'm going to be courageous enough to put in my effort and try this. Because if I don't try this, I won't know if it would work out or not. But trying is the only way to know. And I was absolutely impressed with that, because I realized that there's different mentalities people could adopt. That being scared mentality or that courageous mentality. Or you could sit in the middle with, yes, you're a little scared, and it's totally normal if you're scared. It's totally normal. But it's important to realize that if you try, it could have profound beneficial impacts on your life. Whether, you want to do something, whether that's traveling, but because you're scared of something, that holding you back is stopping that happiness from being cultivated, and so on. So awareness is a first step to building your courage, building the ability to try. And quite honestly, I wasn't too big on trying, whether that's trying new food, trying new things, going out, and just exploring the unknown. I wasn't too big on that. However, as of currently, I'm building upon the skill to try stuff, to get out of my comfort zone a bit, to put my irrational fears aside, those narratives I'm building in my head aside, and open those doorways to trying new stuff, because I realize you won't know until you experience. And there are many things I've done or tried. For example, I've traveled to a few places alone. I've tried that and I enjoyed it. In the past, I would have had the irrational fear of a judgment, embarrassment, how others would think I'm a loner or something like that. I realized that fear is just holding me back from cultivating happiness. And from being aware of this, I was able to put aside that fear and generate that courage to do what I really want to do. Another example is going to the gym, really. Initially, I was very scared to go to the gym. Scared of judgment again. Scared of what others would think of me, whether I'm doing the exercise correctly, whether I'm using the machine, whether my body's big enough to even go there. But I realized that these are all irrational narratives I'm building in my head. And I need to put these fears aside and build the courage to go and try this. And build that future I really want to build. And build that skill I really want to build. So it's all from that core courage, and it's really built. I realize it takes effort to build that courage, and it's something I'm really going through right now. I'm really enjoying the process because I've been able to experience so many things which I haven't been able to before, and more particularly in the past. So that's the main message from in today's podcast, and it's a really short one, to be honest. Just looking at the time here, it's 10 minutes I've gone past, But it's a very concise message I'm trying to push across. And I believe in every one of you. I'm sure you believe in yourself as well. If you want to go do something, do it. Unless it's bad, don't do it. But if it's good and something which you really want to do, but fear is holding you back, and you realize that, yeah, I do need to build that courage to do that, then do it. Because I believe in you and you believe in yourself. And, connecting this back to my, I think the 4th podcast episode I created, looking at the bigger picture. Once you look at the bigger picture, what really matters? Do those irrational fears matter, or the fact that you're doing the thing you really want to do? Those irrational fears are all narratives we build in our head. They're all fictional, they're not real. So, on the bigger picture, what really matters is you do what you want to do. Forget about those fears and build that courage to do what you want to do. And it'll take time. Patience is key. And I realize that patience is key, especially in the journey I'm going on to develop this courage. It's taking time, but I'm appreciating the journey because I'm realizing stuff about myself and also about others and about the world. So it's an absolutely beautiful journey. That's the end of today's podcast. So glad to have you guys listening to this podcast. I'm really trying to grow this podcast via LinkedIn and other platforms, but I really want guest speakers to talk to. As briefly mentioned in the last episode, I'm having a medical student come over to the podcast so I can have a discussion with him. If any other people want to join the podcast and have a conversation, that would be absolutely appreciated. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you next week. Please put in a few comments in regards to what you would like to hear and so on. Bye-bye.